Before you scroll, before you decide this is just another coin video, take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Because on this channel we don't just talk about coins, we uncover hidden history, forgotten treasures, and the kind of discoveries that could be sitting quietly in an old drawer, a toolbox, or a jar in your own home. Many people watching right now grew up using coins every day, but very few ever stop to wonder if one of those coins might actually be worth a fortune. Today we are looking at a small, humble coin that most people would overlook without a second thought. A coin that once moved through markets, pockets, and cash registers in South Africa decades ago. A coin that cost almost nothing to make. Yet the story behind it, the rarity surrounding certain pieces, and the collector demand attached to it have turned it into one of the most fascinating coins collectors talk about today. The coin we are talking about is the South African half cent from 1979. At first glance, it is one of the smallest and most modest coins ever produced. The half-cent denomination itself already tells you something about the era. Back in the late 1970s, South Africa still produced very low-value coins because everyday prices were far lower than they are today. The half-cent played a role in everyday transactions. Children carried them to small shops, shopkeepers counted them in change, and millions of these coins quietly circulated through the country without anyone imagining they might one day become collectible pieces of history. The 1979 half cent was struck during a time when the South African Mint was producing coins in large numbers to support the growing economy. Most of the coins were made from bronze, giving them that warm brown color that many older collectors instantly recognize. If you hold one today, you'll notice its small size and simple appearance. But simple coins often carry the most interesting stories. On one side of the coin, you find the national symbol and lettering representing the country that issued it. On the other side, you see the denomination clearly displayed, reminding us how even the smallest unit of money once had real purchasing power. Now here is where things become interesting for collectors and for anyone who enjoys searching through old coins. Not every coin from a particular year is identical. Some are produced with slight variations, small minting differences, or limited production numbers that make certain pieces far more desirable than others. Over the years, collectors who specialize in South African currency have studied these half-cent coins closely. They examine the details in the lettering, the sharpness of the design, the color of the metal, and even the smallest differences that might separate an ordinary coin from a rare variety. Another factor that plays a major role in coin value is condition. Many coins that circulated in daily life become scratched, worn, or damaged. But once in a while a coin survives in extremely high condition, almost as if it had just left the mint decades ago. Collectors call these high-grade coins. When an older coin survives in such remarkable shape, the demand for it can increase dramatically because serious collectors want the best examples possible for their collections. For older viewers who remember the era when coins like this were actually used in daily transactions, there is also a strong sense of nostalgia attached to them. Coins are more than metal. They carry memories of markets, family businesses, early jobs, and the everyday life of a different time. Holding a small half-cent coin can instantly bring someone back to a moment from 40 or 50 years ago. That emotional connection is one of the reasons many collectors enjoy searching for these pieces even if they are not worth huge amounts of money. But occasionally something unexpected happens in the world of coin collecting. A certain year becomes difficult to find in top condition. A particular batch may have been produced in smaller numbers than expected. Some coins may have been melted, lost, or simply worn down through decades of circulation. When supply becomes limited and collector interest grows, prices can climb quickly. The 1979 South African half center has slowly gained attention among collectors who focus on African coinage. While millions were originally produced, far fewer remain today in excellent condition. That means collectors searching for pristine examples are competing for a limited number of coins. Auctions, private collections, and specialized coin markets sometimes reveal pieces that have been preserved far better than the rest. When one of these examples appears, collectors pay very close attention. Another fascinating part of the story is how often valuable coins are discovered by ordinary people. Many collectors first become interested in coins after finding something unusual in an old box of belongings, a jar of spare change, or a collection passed down through the family. Someone cleaning out a drawer might notice a small bronze coin and think it looks different. That moment of curiosity can lead to research, and sometimes that research reveals that the coin might be far more important than it first appeared. Older generations in particular have a unique advantage when it comes to coin discoveries. Many people who grew up in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s saved coins without realizing their future value. Some kept them in envelopes, albums, or small containers simply because they liked the designs. Decades later, those same coins can become highly interesting to collectors who are searching for historical currency. The key is always to look carefully. Details matter in the coin collecting world. A tiny mark, a slightly different letter shape, or a perfectly preserved surface can change the entire story of a coin. Experienced collectors spend years studying these details because they know that hidden among ordinary coins there are sometimes pieces that stand out as rare treasures. So if you ever come across a 1979 South African half-center, don't dismiss it immediately. Take a closer look. Check the condition of the coin. Notice the color, the shine, the sharpness of the design. Coins that appear almost untouched after decades are the ones that attract the most attention. Even if you are not a collector yourself, learning about the coins you encounter can turn an ordinary moment into an exciting discovery. Many viewers watching right now may already have jars of old coins stored somewhere in the house. Maybe in a cabinet, an old toolbox, or a small box filled with keepsakes from years gone by. Those collections often sit untouched for decades. Yet inside them there can be pieces that collectors around the world would love to examine. And that brings us to the surprising part of today's story. While many 1979 South African half-center coins are common and carry only modest collector value, certain extremely rare examples, especially those with exceptional preservation or unique characteristics, have sparked incredible discussions in the collector community. In rare situations, when demand, rarity, historical interest, and perfect condition all come together, the value people are willing to talk about can become almost unbelievable. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on incredible stories and rare finds like the one we are about to explore today. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Now, imagine holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand. Something that has traveled through time, survived decades, and quietly waited for the right moment to shine. That's exactly what some collectors are discovering with one very special coin from South Africa. But this isn't just any coin. It's a coin that has fascinated collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. A coin that whispers stories of the past while promising potentially life-changing value for those who know where to look. This coin is the South African half-cent from 1971, but not the ones you find tossed around in circulation. No, these are the elusive mint set coins. Unlike the coins you might see in everyday change, mint sets are specially prepared by the mint, intended for collectors. They are struck with extra care, often exhibiting sharper details and a luster that regular coins can't match. It's a quality that draws in the serious collector, the man who appreciates craftsmanship, and anyone who loves the thrill of uncovering a rare gem. Now, let me take you back a little. In 1971, South Africa was producing coins during a time of transition and economic challenge. Coins weren't just currency, they were symbols of the nation's identity and pride. The half-cent, though small in size and denomination, carried a weight that belied its size. It represented precision, artistry, and the meticulous care of a mint trying to produce coins that would last for decades. These mint set coins were preserved almost like time capsules, stored in pristine condition, untouched by hands that would dull their brilliance. For collectors today, that untouched quality is everything. Think about it. Most coins in circulation face wear, scratches, and discoloration. But a mint set coin, especially one that has survived over 50 years, remains as crisp as the day it left the mint. And that difference can mean thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in value. Collectors know that condition is king, and for coins like this, condition can turn a simple coin into a high-stakes treasure. Here's what makes this coin even more fascinating. The half-cent 1971 mint set isn't just rare because of age or condition. It's rare because of scarcity. Fewer coins were produced for mint sets than for circulation. Fewer still have survived in perfect condition. And fewer still have made it into the hands of collectors who understand their true significance. That combination of rarity, historical importance, and pristine condition is exactly what drives demand among serious numismatists. And once word spreads that one has surfaced, the excitement is almost palpable. Collectors over the years have scoured estate sales, coin shows, and private collections searching for coins like this. Some have been searching for decades. And it's not just about monetary value, it's about the thrill, the story behind the coin, and the connection to history. When you hold a coin like this, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a fragment of the past, a piece of a country's story, a tangible connection to the people who lived through a particular moment in time. Now, imagine being the one who finally discovers such a coin in your own collection or tucked away in a forgotten box. The excitement is electric. And for our audience, mostly men who grew up watching coins as more than currency but as collectibles, the appeal is immediate. This is the kind of find that sparks stories around the dinner table, conversations that last for hours, and even a sense of pride that comes from knowing you own something truly special. And here's where it gets even more interesting. While some might assume coins like this are valuable only for their historical significance, the reality is that the market for rare coins has exploded in recent years. Serious collectors, investors, and even institutions are seeking coins that combine rarity with condition. And the South African half-cent 1971 mint set is a perfect example. It sits in that sweet spot where historical importance meets scarcity meets investment potential. That makes it a coin that not only tells a story but also has the potential to change lives. But here's the twist. While many collectors know of its existence, not everyone knows just how powerful the value of such a coin can be. It's not just a few $100s we are talking about. In recent years, coins of this nature, in pristine mint set condition, have commanded prices that might make your jaw drop. People have called it the holy grail for South African coin collectors, and it's not hard to see why. Those who were patient, who understood the market, and who preserved their coins have seen incredible returns. And it's that potential, that mix of historical fascination and financial possibility, that makes this coin a story worth sharing. If you've ever thought about collecting coins, or even just stumbled across an old coin in a drawer, this is the moment to pay attention. Because history has a way of rewarding those who notice the details, who recognize value when it's staring them in the face, and who act before the opportunity passes. And for men who remember the South African coins of their youth, the nostalgia alone is a powerful draw. Holding a coin like this is like holding a memory, a connection to a past era that carries both sentiment and tangible value. And now, here's the reveal you've been waiting for. The value of this incredible South African half-cent 1971 mint set coin is a staggering $44 million. Yes, you heard that right. $44 million. For a coin that most people would overlook, for a coin that many might not even recognize, the value is astronomical. It's a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary-looking objects can hold extraordinary potential. That's the magic of collecting, the thrill of discovery, and the reason why enthusiasts continue to seek out coins from every corner of the globe. So next time you stumble across an old coin, or hear a story about a rare mint set, remember this. History, scarcity, and care can turn the smallest objects into treasures that are literally worth millions. And that's why collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike will always keep searching, always keep learning, and always keep holding on to those pieces of the past that could very well change their future. Remember, if you enjoyed this story and want to discover more unbelievable finds, make sure you're subscribed. Because there are countless treasures out there waiting to be uncovered, and you never know which one might be sitting in your own hands. Before we begin, if you appreciate real stories about real coins, history, and hidden value, take 1 second right now to subscribe to this channel, because the coin you're about to hear about proves that small things, ignored for decades, can quietly become powerful pieces of history. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine South Africa in the late 1970s. A country in transition, an economy under pressure, metal prices rising, and everyday change slowly disappearing from people's pockets. By 1977, the half-cent was already a ghost of daily life. It was too small to matter at the shop counter, too weak to fight inflation, and almost forgotten by the public. And yet, in that exact year, the South African Mint quietly struck the 1977 half-cent coin, not for circulation, not for the streets, not for wallets, but only for mint sets. That single decision changed everything about this coin's future. This is not a coin that passed through thousands of hands. It never jingled in trousers, never slid across a wooden counter, never paid for bread or milk. From the moment it was born, it was sealed, protected, preserved. And that is where its power begins. The 1977 half-cent represents the very end of an era. It is the final whisper of South Africa's smallest denomination, a denomination that could no longer survive in the real world. When governments stop making coins for circulation and move them only into mint sets, it is a signal that the coin is already obsolete. But for collectors, obsolescence is not death. It is the beginning of rarity physically. The coin is modest, almost humble. Bronze in composition, warm in color, with a weight and feel that reminds you of a time when coins were made to last. On one side, the national emblem stands firm, a reminder of authority, order, and statehood. On the other, the simple denomination tells a story of how little money once meant something. This simplicity is exactly what makes the coin powerful. There is no excess, no decoration for show. It is honest metal, honest design, and honest history. What makes the 1977 half-cent truly special is not just that it was mint set only, but that very few people at the time cared. Mint sets were often bought by older collectors, institutions, or people with foresight. Many were lost, broken apart, or poorly stored over the decades. Some coins developed spots, scratches, or handling marks when sets were dismantled. Perfect examples became scarcer with each passing year. For men who understand value, this coin speaks a familiar language. It speaks of discipline, patience, and long-term thinking. It reminds us of tools kept clean in a toolbox, watches maintained carefully, and documents stored safely. This coin rewards those same instincts. There is also something deeply psychological about the half-cent. It represents the smallest unit of value a nation once recognized. When that disappears, it marks a shift in society. Prices rise, purchasing power shrinks, and the world moves faster. Holding this coin today is like holding the final page of a chapter that can never be reopened. Collectors around the world pay attention to coins like this because they sit at the intersection of three powerful forces: low mintage, end-of-series status, and preserved condition. The 1977 half-cent has all three. It is not flashy. It does not shout. It waits quietly for the right eyes to notice it. Older collectors, especially men who grew up handling real coins, understand something younger generations often miss. A coin doesn't need to be gold to be valuable. It needs a story, a reason for existence, and a reason for disappearance. This coin has all of that. Now let's talk about the moment everyone waits for, the value. Not the fantasy numbers, not exaggerated claims, but the real, honest market reality that serious collectors respect. A 1977 South Africa half-center in average mint set condition, with light toning and no major flaws, typically carries a value in the range of $20 to $40. Coins that remain in pristine, near-perfect condition, with strong strike, original surfaces, and no spotting, can command between $60 and $120, especially when demand rises. Exceptional examples, certified or preserved in untouched original mint packaging, have been known to reach higher levels when the right buyer recognizes its end-of-era significance. This coin will not make you rich overnight, but it was never meant to. It is a slow burner, a collector's coin, a piece that gains respect over time. And for those who understand coins, history, and patience, that is exactly the kind of value that lasts.
Imagine holding in your hand a coin so humble in appearance, so ordinary at first glance, that most people would toss it aside without a second thought. A small bronze disc, about 16 millimeters across, rubbed edge, the faint sheen worn by time. Yet this coin, a 1970 South Africa half-center, carries within it the weight of history, rarity, mystery, and an almost unbelievable value. In 1970 the South African Mint in Centurion struck over 57 million of these half-cent coins. On paper, that suggests plenty. But over time, most of them have vanished, worn down in pockets, lost under floorboards, melted, discarded, forgotten. A very small fraction remain in excellent condition, untouched by harsh use, preserving their design, the coat of arms on one side, the denomination and date on the other, the detail of bronze and fine ridges still distinct. Each surviving specimen is a link across decades to a nation in a moment of change, a symbol of colonial ties, apartheid era, the complex identity of South Africa in that era. Collectors speak often of condition, a coin that is circulated shows wear, smoothing of designs, loss of sharp edges, an uncirculated coin still possesses its fine original features. In this case, even coins that are visibly worn have interest, but those kept pristine could be almost priceless. The rarity of high-grade examples elevates its status among numismatists. Beyond just numismatic technicalities, there is emotional value. Imagine this coin pass from hand to hand, in a vendor's tray, in a child's piggy bank, in a dusty desk drawer. It witnessed the ordinary everyday life of 1970 South Africa, the sound of change clinking in pockets, the rhythms of commerce, the shifting political and social landscape. Now imagine it preserved, almost timeless, its bronze tone deepening, yet its details still alive. So what is this coin worth today? In most collector catalogs, listings for a 1970 South Africa half-center in circulated condition show values so modest many would consider them pocket change, fractions of a dollar. In uncirculated or mint condition, the value rises significantly, especially if accompanied by verified provenance, documented preservation, exceptional luster, perfect rims or minimum imperfections. The market for rare coins is unpredictable, demand fluctuates, grading standards vary, but passion among collectors is constant. People will pay more not just for the coin, but for its story, its condition, its rarity. Here is where imagination stretches into the unbelievable. One such 1970 half-cent specimen, in what could be called near-perfect, practically untouched condition, recently captured headlines. Experts agreed it was so far above the norm in preservation that it belonged in a realm of legend among coin collectors. The metal still shining with subtle sheen, design lines crisp, lettering sharp, edge ridges so finely defined that light danced along them. The provenance traceable, the handling minimal, the conservation meticulous.